So you've got multiple offers, but you're not sure which one to accept? We're talking about that now on Speaking Frankly. My name is Frank Hunton, and I am a realtor with Hunton Properties and Keller Williams Realty Partners in Woodstock, Georgia, and this is Speaking Frankly. As you compare offers, it's tempting to simply go with the all-cash buyer or whoever can afford to put up the most money for your house. And the price that buyers are willing to pay is really important. You wouldn't want to sell your home for an amount that's too low and leave money on the table. Still, it's best to avoid taking offers strictly at their face value. While there are potentially dozens more, 4 other important things to take into account when choosing an offer are concessions, contingencies, buyer financing, and timing. A concession is a benefit or discount offered by the buyer or seller to help sell a home and close a deal. Concessions are usually specified during negotiations and often included in the closing costs. Some examples include covering the cost of new appliances, moving expenses, or repairs to the home. Probably the most common concession that is requested is the seller's contribution towards the buyer's closing costs. The rationale here is simple. Many buyers are cash-strapped due to all the costs associated with buying a home, and the seller often has a large amount of cash headed their way at closing in the form of liquidated equity. In order to relieve the financial burden, buyers will often ask the seller to cover some or all of the cost of closing the deal. Other concessions may include leaving behind items that usually wouldn't convey with the property, such as certain appliances or things like chandeliers and pool tables. Take all of these requested concessions into account when considering an offer. You can think of contingencies as conditions or actions that must be met for a real estate contract to become binding. Don't overlook these, as they could potentially kill an otherwise great offer. The most common contingencies include the home inspection, buyer financing, and property appraisal, all of which protect the buyer in the event that major defects with the home come to light or the house doesn't appraise. Some contingencies, however, are far riskier for sellers, so look out for buyers who bring you an offer that is contingent upon, say, selling their existing home. You have no way of guaranteeing when and if the buyer's home will sell, and that'll put you in a sticky predicament if it doesn't sell for some reason. Weigh out whether or not the buyer's contingencies are ones you can live with before accepting the offer. Cash is king, or so they say, but cash buyers are rare and will often offer less money for a property than someone who needs financing. Regardless of how great a potential buyer might seem, they might not be the right person to buy your house if they don't have the right mortgage lender to finance their purchase. Not all lenders are the same, and sometimes financing deals collapse. Before having your heart set on a particular home buyer, it's a good idea to make sure that they're pre-approved for a mortgage through a trustworthy lender. While a buyer with an FHA loan or other non-conventional loans shouldn't be overlooked, you'll need to find out whether their loan terms will make sealing the deal more difficult. Consider all angles of buyer financing when considering an offer, and you can make an informed decision based on the level of risk that you're willing to take. Securing a buyer who's willing to be flexible on a closing date can be really important, especially for sellers who haven't yet secured their new home. On the flip side, if you're in a time crunch and need to sell fast, look for a buyer who's willing to shorten the inspection window and move up the closing date. But also consider the possibility that you may sacrifice some cash as a result. Typically, the closing happens 4 to 6 weeks after all the paperwork is signed and everything's worked out, though this can happen sooner or later depending on the scenario. As the seller, you may be ready to get through the whole process and move on with your life, or on the other hand, you may need a little more time to get into your next house or make your move to the next city. So when selecting for more than one offer, you'll want to take into consideration the buyer's plans as well. Are they in a hurry to get in the house? Or do they have some flexibility to where they can accommodate your need for more time? It may not sound like a big deal, but timing can be huge when selling your home. While net profit is usually the biggest factor to consider when selecting which offer to choose, there are other factors as well, such as concessions, contingencies, buyer financing, and timing. Take into account the big picture when determining whether or not an offer is right for you. My name is Frank Hunton, and I am a realtor with Hunton Properties and Keller Williams Realty Partners in Woodstock, Georgia, and this is Speaking Frankly. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, why not? Please do so now. Also, show us some love and spread the word. Please give us a thumbs up below, leave us a comment, and share this video with as many people as possible. Also, be sure to check out our other videos. We really do appreciate your support. Thank you.